Jane Green from the Zero Waste Alliance. You've been working with the Hereford and Worcestershire Action Group about this incinerator in Hartlebury. What are your main concerns that have brought you to Brussels?
My main concerns is the secrecy of waste contracts, which are enormously expensive. They're actually so expensive that they will be taking extra millions of pounds from budgets at a time of cuts, and at the same time people have got no access to information. For example, in Hartlebury there is no financial details given whatsoever, so there's no way that people in the communities can put forward much greener, much more cost-effective waste treatments.
Do you think that European law has been broken in the way that the Council have carried out the process that's led towards this incinerator possibly going ahead? Has something gone wrong in terms of European law, or is it just hard cheese really that you don't feel that you can get access to enough information?
No, I think that the Council, now I understand that the Council should have actively been telling people what the costs were, should actively have been encouraging them and listening to their views, instead of which at the inquiry there isn't an equal representation because communities simply haven't got the money to pay for the sort of legal representation they need and the proper experts. And I think these definitely are going against European law. I realise that now.
And these were some of the issues that you raised here in the Petitions Committee in the European Parliament. What did you make of the response from the European Commission and from MEPs to the points that you were raising?
Yeah, I thought it was terrific. I mean, they really took on the points, and I think they saw it as the two real principles at stake, that communities aren't having a say on enormous, vastly expensive waste infrastructure, committing them for 25 to 30 years to massive incinerators when they're not needed, and incapable of actually putting forward much cheaper, in fact, now, treatment that pays you, recycling pays us. They're not allowed to put these points of view forward, or modern waste management, because they simply haven't got the means to go to inquiries, to go to judicial review, and the contracts are completely secret. We've got a situation now in Worcester that it's been going on for 5 years, or 15 if you from the start of the contract, where the council are saying they will not release any of the details, any of the costs of how much it's going to be. So you have got nothing to compare anything much better with. And they say that they're going to be taking a decision around about the 4th of October, and they're going to release these massive documents, massive business cases, about 6 days before, making it utterly impossible for people to actually participate.
The European Commission suggested in your petition today that maybe you could contact the Information Commissioner, that could be a way of accessing more information, and they praised that system that the UK has of doing that. Is that not an avenue that you can now explore?
Information commissioners, as far as I know, cannot overcome commercial confidentiality. Now the councillors have to get their finance from the private finance market. Everything is wrapped in confidentiality, and you simply can't get anything. For years you can wait and you'll get something that's full of crossings out and absolutely no figures.
Does this case that you've taken today here in Europe get you any further, do you think? Do you think it's helped in your battle with this incinerator project?
I think it's going to help a lot of projects, because they're now going to take this forward, and we're going to be sending information from all over the country, and they're going to be asking questions of the government, I hope, questions of councils like Herefordshire and Worcestershire that are going ahead against the wishes of their populations. And I think just highlighting it, the reason they're getting away with these huge incinerators and taking extra money out of budgets is by not making people aware
The other thing that was raised here
Right.
today by the European Commission was that they asked you to provide more information. They said
Yes,
that
they did.
as far as they could understand, the case was not completely clear to them. Are you going to now go away and provide them with more information? And do you think that will help your case at a European level?
I think it'll be a great boost for people to actually get that information together and send it in. Yeah, I think that there's terrific information out there, and now that we've got a focus, we'll certainly get extremely good examples for them.
Following this petition, you've listened to what the MEPs have had to say, and there seem to be two arguments that really stood out. The first was to do with how waste is treated. Just explain what your view is there and where you think European law hasn't been followed.
Well, I think European law states that waste should be treated by recycling, composting, reuse and redesign before it's going to landfill or incineration, and that isn't what's happening in England.
And the second argument seemed to be about access to information. Do you feel that you have had, and the groups in Worcestershire have had, sufficient access to information, and how does that relate to European law?
Well, I now understand that they should have had access. We should have access to information on costs, access to participation in saying what sort of technologies, what should we use, whereas in actual fact this hasn't been the case. They've been kept completely secret, really. They've not been told what the costs of projects are. The whole contract is secret, so it's not possible for communities to be able to put forward greener and cheaper solutions which are readily available.